Hey guys, it's Parsifal. I also go by Will, and I am back with another sketchbook tour. And this time I have this small souvenir A6 sketchbook that I got from Point Defiance Zoo about 3 years ago when I was on vacation. And I actually really like the size of it, but admittedly, I mentioned in my last sketchbook tour, I am rather tired of small sketchbooks. Not because I don't like drawing in them, but because a lot of the small sketchbooks that I've had have been, with one thing or another, just slightly disappointing, or not really how I tend to use my personal sketchbooks, which is fine, but I'm just ready to go back to something slightly bigger and slightly more my speed when it comes to things that the sketchbook can take. And part of this is my fault. I like to try out different sketchbooks. I have a bunch lying around, and I don't really always know what the paper quality is going to be for sketchbooks that I just randomly pick up. Mostly because about 10 or so sketchbook videos ago, I mentioned that I collect sketchbooks because I like to remember where I've gone, and sketchbooks are a thing I use, so when I use them, I can remember where I was when I got it, where I was when I was drawing it, etc., etc. And this was actually a notebook that I used for a couple of years before I ripped those pages out and then repurposed it into a sketchbook. This, as most A6 sketchbooks, actually has pretty thin paper. It's not very thick, and in fact it's generally only used for pencil sketching or pen sketching, which is fine, but I tend to use some color with mine, and this thing hardly even holds up to highlighter sometimes. So that's why I have the sketch page at the front, and this note that this is actually really nice with a ballpoint pen that I have, but generally it's not the most compatible sketchbook with how I personally sketch. So I restarted this on the 3rd of January and finished it on the 12th. So I got through it relatively fast, but at the same time, that was mostly just because about halfway through redoing this, I kind of wanted to get over with it, and I'm not the type to quit sketchbooks and come back very often. If I do, I feel really, really bad about it, so... the first few pages are notes of mine for a D&D campaign one-shot that I did, so I'm just going to skip past these and start at this page, which is actually a pair of post-it notes that I taped in. And this is some Fey Form Hiver. Kind of looks like he has a bunny face. And then this was the page where I tested out how much it could take in ink, and it really couldn't. I had to put... You can kind of see here that it bled through, and I had to put post-its on the other side. I don't have to do that now that I just said that, but I prefer doing that so I can keep my sketches clean and legible if I ever want to scan them in. Though I know that some people generally don't have to worry about that. They just kind of do what they want and draw over colors that bled through, and I used to be able to do that, and I need to get back into that habit. These are animal studies that I didn't do very well on because I have this new character here, old character that I'm reusing. His name's Oscar Kafka Sr., and he is a were badger. And so I did some studies of honey badgers that didn't really turn out so well. I have some eye studies of how Lavender Tone draws her eyes, more honey badger sketches, and then Oscar turning into like this half man, half badger person. He is a barbarian for a Pathfinder campaign that I'm doing. And then various just sketches of random things. The 6th was kind of a day that I didn't really know what I was drawing, so I just did a bunch of random stuff. And I think I actually had a bit of trouble in this sketchbook a lot, and I think part of it was because it just wasn't a sketchbook that I wanted to work in very much, because it wasn't something that I was very comfortable with in terms of the paper quality. Hence why I guess I got tired of it, though that's not really the case. These pen sketches here are concepts for a commission that I did. You can actually find that on most of my social media at this point. I taped this one in because I did a lot of taping in with this sketchbook, just because it was a lot easier for me to tape stuff in than to actually sketch on the paper when I wasn't super comfortable with it. No, I skipped a page. These are some more concepts for my Calyptra character. And then this is actually one of my favorite pictures in this sketchbook. This is just this color sketch of my character Kazel, and I was just playing around with shapes in color and splashing color everywhere. Some body type studies, revamping an old character, bird studies. I did a lot of studies in this book because these pages are pretty small. You can't really fit much on them. It's only about the size of my hand. So I fit bird sketches on them when I could, and I did more studies just because it would sort of get through the book faster, which I don't usually do. But in this case, I was just kind of being frustrated, and because of the paper quality, I didn't really want to use this book as often. So I tried to fill the pages with whatever I could and filled it with studies because studies fill up pages. Some drawings of Luke that I'm actually pretty happy with. An old OC that I'm revamping again, who's Arthurian themed. Random sketches that I really have no context for besides I was practicing different shapes. And a bunch of expression memes that I drew, again, mostly because I didn't really know what else to draw at the time and I wanted to get through it. I really actually like this page. It's got this little booklet of graph paper sketches that I just taped in there all together so you can just flip through them, and I think that's pretty cool. Then I found these giant purple post-it notes, so I have a bunch of these now, and I might be using them in future things because I like how big they are. I know I could get post-it notes that big, but I haven't seen any in purple for a long while, so I was pretty excited about that. This isn't really a sketchbook I'm super proud of, but it's a sketchbook that I think was worth doing just because it was about time I realized that I needed to move back into a bigger sketchbook. So yeah, this isn't really anything special, and not all of my sketchbooks are anything special. And this is the last page, so I will leave it here for now. They're not always all that special, but I don't really show these because I want to show a grand piece of work that I want to show everyone. Not all of my sketchbooks are great. I mostly do it because I know I like seeing other people's sketchbooks, so I want to share mine with people in case anyone else wants to see mine, which if they don't, fine. If they do, great. It's mostly just I want to share mine with people to help cultivate that sort of community. Less of a, I want to show people this because I think it looks great or I worked hard on this. It's just part of artist community to me is learning from what other people show you and taking that to learn for yourself. And if there's nothing to see, then, you know, you can't really learn from anything if there's nothing there. But yeah, I've been rambling a bit too much about the sketchbook tour, which honestly is actually pretty short, so, oh boy. But, as usual, if you have any comments or questions, you can put those down in the comments below, or you can contact me on any of my social media, which is also in the description. Or if you feel like supporting me, I have a Patreon where for $1 a month you can donate and get access to all of my sketchbook stuff before it goes up on YouTube, because I do daily sketch dumps there, and I really need to like perfect this outro or something. But yeah, thank you guys so much for your support. I'll see you next time. Bye!